Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 5 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on recognizing God's hand in my life. Um, I know it's been a while since I've made one of these videos. I have a whole list of things that I've written down of amazing things that have happened to me, and I'm gonna skip them because I just I just am. They were amazing things. Like at Christmas time, I was ready to just give up because I didn't get to see my kids or because they'd moved and I didn't have their new number or way to contact them. And I was worried about all of that. And then I called and I was able to see them, which was great. I actually got to go to their house. I got to go inside their house, their new house, and check it out and spend Christmas with them. It was amazing. So I just feel like God was totally blessing me for all of that. He's been blessing me with a lot of things. I've had lots of inspiration over this time, but I'm just gonna start from where I'm at and just pick up with day 5. I love that I kind of get to make my own rules, and sometimes I have to bend them a little bit because I'm like, I want to do 100 days of recognizing God's hand in my life. But obviously, they don't have to be consecutive days as long as they're days that I'm recognizing God's hand in my life. And I know that He's aware of me every single day of my life, and I am very grateful for that. And oftentimes, He points out to me that He's aware of other people and their lives, and I am grateful for that too. I also sometimes have a tendency to get a little bit jealous or irritated because I think other people get away with things that they should not. And because I never feel like I get away with anything, I always feel guilty if I don't do the right things or if I feel like I screwed up, and I just exaggerate how horrible I am because I made a mistake. And God never exaggerates how horrible I am about anything. And He's very loving and forgiving and gentle and understanding of everything in my life. And I forget to be that way with myself a lot of times. So I am so grateful that God is that way with me. So for day 5, basically, I don't know why, but I was in a car accident. So lucky me, right? Got rear-ended, got some really bad whiplash, get to be nice and sore. But I am very grateful because somehow, in spite of that, I thought my car would be all dinged up, and it's not. You can't even tell by looking at it that I was in an accident, which is fantastic. So I'm still able to drive, which is also fantastic. I need my car for work, so that's good. I can still continue to work, so God blessed me with that, and also reminded me that about 7 years ago, I think, I was in a car accident, and I was trying to exercise at that point. I was doing some exercise videos on my um, I was exercising using my exercise ball to some exercise videos. And I discovered that as I did the exercises, even though I wasn't, you know, doing it to the point where I was getting my heart rate up and stuff like that, but it was just a lot of basic stretches and things. And it actually made the pain lessen. It helped my body to heal a little bit faster by stretching all of those muscles. So I have been wanting to, trying to get myself to exercise. And not that I really appreciate an accident getting me to do it, but I was in an accident and I was like, okay, well, when I got home, I was like, okay, I am so sore, like so sore. And I was thinking, if I am this sore on the first day of an accident, it's usually like the third or fourth day that you hurt the worst after a car accident. And I was like, I can't do that. I cannot be any more in more pain than I am right now. And so I chose to exercise so that I wouldn't be in as much pain, which I'm grateful for because it's given me the motivation to exercise. Because I usually get home from work and whatever, I'm like, I'm too tired, it's too late at night, I don't care. And I'm like, but I hurt, and I'm gonna hurt worse if I don't exercise. So I exercised. So I'm like, yay, I'm proud of myself for doing that. And I'm grateful for God for helping me to do that. Also, very grateful that I was distracted when the accident happened. Not that distracted is the right word. I shouldn't say that. I was stopped at a red light. So, well, it was a red arrow because I was in the left turn lane, and it was a red arrow. So I was waiting for the arrow to turn green, but the side traffic next to me had a green light. So they could go, but I couldn't. So anyway, I was sitting at the red arrow. So I was just kind of glancing around at traffic and focused on other things. I wasn't looking in my rearview mirror. So I didn't have a heads up that the accident was coming. And I have heard that people that are, like drunk or whatever, or not aware that the accident's about to happen, that their body is more relaxed. And if your body is relaxed when it happens, I don't know, there's not as much damage, or the recovery is faster or something like that, because you don't tense everything prior to. So I didn't tense anything, and I just went flying, except I didn't fly very far because I had a seatbelt, so it just kind of yanked me right back. So I'm like, I went forward and it yanked me back, and my glasses went flying off my face, and I was like, that was very painful, but I was very distracted. So I'm like, I think I feel the pain right away, but hopefully it won't be any worse, especially with the exercising. So just very grateful for that. Also just very grateful that God helped me just remember the things that I needed to do. And it's so random to me because I'm like, I'm in shock, I'm shaking, I can't get my seatbelt unlocked, and I'm like, I'm reaching for my phone because I'm at work. I have to let work know that this is going on. I have to call 911. I have to do all this stuff, and I'm just sitting in the middle of the intersection with the red light going, nothing I can do. Just gonna sit here and do this. And then of course the other person got out. We pulled over to a parking lot somewhere when the light changed, so it was safe to go, and hashed it all out or whatever. And then of course I was kind of irritated because she left before the police got there, and then the police said since she exchanged information, it's not a hit and run, and since there wasn't any visible damage, they're not gonna track her down and give her a ticket. And I'm like, but I have her license plate number, I have her registration, and I have her insurance, and I have her phone number. She'd be easy to track down. And they're like, yeah, we're just not gonna do it. I'm like, great. So, I mean, I was gonna say she gets off scot-free, but I'm like, she doesn't really get off scot-free because she has to. She will be in pain. I'm sure she will be in pain. I think she was in shock. She was walking around in total shock. But I am grateful that God helped me to like process all of that. And I'm like, I started to cried a little bit, but not a lot, mostly just a little bit frustrated to be in pain, frustrated that it took me away from work temporarily, just not what I wanted to deal with in my life, but grateful that God was there helping me, and that I was much calmer than I normally would be, that the shock kind of seemed to wear off a lot more quickly. She seemed more shocked than the person that hit me. She kept repeating herself. She kept walking around in circles. She kept focusing on the fact that it was her son's basketball. She had to get to his basketball game, and she was already 20 minutes late. And I'm like, it's been like 15, 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure by the time we get there, it's going to be over, his basketball practice or whatever. But I also had this thought, and it probably has nothing to do with anything. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it's a very conceited thought on my part. I have no idea. But it is one that randomly plays in my head, or played in my head. But not that I even like being in pain. But I have noticed in the past doing these videos that like some of my panic attacks that I was having, they seem to stop when I made a video about panic attacks, because I feel like other people have them and suffer from them, and I need to share those things with other people. And I've been in situations where I've had cars honk at me and other things, and I've had that realization that they can't see everything that I can see. Like someone was honking at me, laying on their horn one time, and I saw a car coming to run the light, and I was like, I'm not going because that car's running the light and I'm not getting an accident. And I realized that sometimes things that are blocking me in my life is because the timing is not right, because something bad could be happening and God is preventing that from happening. And but also there's that realization that he does that for other people as well. He prevents bad things from happening. And not that I appreciate being in an accident, but it occurs to me that this was a red arrow that I was stopped at, and this woman wasn't paying attention, and she had her son in the front seat, and had she ran the red arrow and made that left turn, she would have been turning into oncoming traffic because she thought the light was green. And that accident, if it had hit the side of her car, or if she'd have hit somebody else that was going, like T-boned somebody, that would have been a much worse accident for her and for her son. So I think in some small way God was watching out for her, protecting her, because I stopped on a yellow arrow. And to be perfectly honest with you, if it's a yellow light, I would say 99% of the time I will run a yellow light. I don't stop. And I totally could have taken that yellow arrow, especially when it's at a left turn light, because I don't want to have to sit and wait forever for it to turn green again. So for whatever reason, I decided to just stop at a yellow light and just wait and take my sweet little time. And probably the reason was because I was eating my lunch while I was driving. So it was nice to just stop at a light so I could be eating instead of driving and eating. It's not always the best thing to drive and eat. But I was stopped, so I'm like, I could take a bite of the wrap that I had, the vegetable wrap that I had, bacon, lettuce, tomato wrap, something. I don't remember. Anyway, I was, I'm like, okay. But I drive, so I snack sometimes when I'm driving. So I was eating my lunch. But I'm like, I'm stopped at a light. It doesn't matter. I can sit there and take a bite or two. I'm watching the light. I'm making sure that it's not going anywhere. It's still red. And then, of course, I get hit, and I was like, dang it. Was not expecting that. I'm like, there's the end of my sandwich, and I'm stuck at a light. So that was very, anyway. But that's probably the reason I stopped. And maybe stopping was prevented her from getting into a worse accident, because she was going to get in an accident if she was going to run that light. And clearly she had every intention of running that light, because she hit me really hard. And so I didn't even hear the brakes squeal or stop or anything. It's not like anybody was trying to stop. It was just all of a sudden, bam, and my car is just jumping into the intersection. I'm like, I don't know what that was. Somebody just hit me. That was really bad. And then I'm thinking, their car's messed up, my car's messed up, but I just didn't even look in the rearview mirror to see what was going on. And when I did look in the rearview mirror before we pulled out, she's like a whole car length behind me. So I'm like, what'd she do? Just hit my car? And she stopped and my car went forward? I don't know. Or she bounced backwards or something. I don't know what happened, but I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, because she's not like right up in my bumper. But apparently my car stopped hers, but it didn't stop me from going anywhere. Anyway, it was just one of those random things. And I just know that God was blessing me, looking out for me, protecting me, because it could have been worse. And I didn't overreact to everything. Not thrilled that she didn't get a ticket. Her insurance might go up, because obviously I'm going to be filing a claim with her insurance company, because I'm going to go see a chiropractor and deal with all of my injuries and take care of myself. But I'm just so grateful that I could take care of myself, that I could stay calm, that I could just follow through and do what I needed to do to take care of me, and be like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm in shock from all of this. I know she's in shock, the way she's walking around and repeating herself and whatever, not even sure what the heck is going on, and can't make any kind of decision. And I'm just like, okay, I just need to slow down and process things, because I'm not processing things right now. I'm like, one thing at a time. But I could do that. And I normally can't do that. Honestly, when I was in that car accident like 7 years ago, I was like bawling, and I had no reason. I was like bawling, and then the police officer came. He's like, I can get your information as soon as you're calmed down. I'm like, no, it's okay. I got it. It's right here. And I'm crying the entire time. I'm like hysterical. And I was in an accident like a year or so ago, I think at Christmas time. Somebody hit and run kind of a thing, and I pulled over and I was shaking, and the officer came and I was still shaking and crying, and I had to go. I took a break. I went shopping, bought some stuff for Christmas, and then I was able to go back to work after I'd calmed down a little bit. But I didn't like report it to work or do anything with that, because there wasn't anything to report at that point. And I wasn't anyway. So this time I was like, okay, I reported it, and then I was annoyed because like 4 hours later after I'd reported it, then work says, hey, we need to make sure that you're okay, so we're freezing your account. You can't work the rest of tonight. And I'm like, took you 4 hours to decide that? Because I told you like 4 hours ago. But then I was also grateful that even if I couldn't go continue working, it was probably a good thing, because I was really sore and I needed to get to bed, and I needed to go grocery shopping, and I was able to still just go grocery shopping. I was able to put a positive spin on things, which I don't always put a positive spin on things. I put a lot of negative spin on things, and I've been dealing with a lot of depression and just really struggling to function and do things for the past month or so. No real particular reason. Probably just a lot of triggers, a lot of change in medications, just a lot of emotional things going on. Seriously, I'm just, just crazy. Just trying to get all this stuff out of my system, trying to figure out how to move forward. And the holidays always bring up stuff too. And I just don't always process my emotions. But it was just amazing to me that God helped me. I wasn't bawling my eyes out. I teared up a little bit a couple of times, but I didn't even have like a good cry over the accident. I'm like, that's pretty impressive for me. I did grab my head a few times because my head really did hurt. So I'm like, I know I'm injured. I know I'm hurting. I know I'm gonna hurt worse tomorrow. So I'm like, I gotta do this. But I was still able to go back to work for a few hours. I was able to, be fine. If I can't work, then I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to, come home. I'm going to exercise. And I did all of those things. And I'm like, I know that God was blessing me. I know He was giving me the strength and the energy to do all of that, because honestly, me on my own, without God's help in my life, I would have been a hysterical mess. And I would have been like, I have no idea what to do. I can't do this. And I would just have a mental breakdown. And I didn't have a mental breakdown. And I just think I am so grateful, because I know God was there and He was helping me, and He was lifting me up and making it okay. And I'm like, it hurts like crazy, but hey, it got me to do my exercises. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to quit work early. There were a lot of things I could look at as blessings, and maybe even a reason why for the accident. And maybe that's the only reason I like the fact that maybe it prevented this person from getting in a worse accident, because then it makes me feel a little bit better about being all banged up and hurting, because maybe it helped somebody else. Maybe not. Maybe it was just somebody's bad choice, and I just got stuck in that because they just weren't paying attention. And maybe if I'd gone, they would have been in an accident with someone else, and I would be completely oblivious to it and not care. Honestly, I would have been oblivious, so I wouldn't have known or cared. Or, maybe she would have seen the light and stopped, or maybe she would have got away with running the light and would have missed everybody entirely, and, none of that would have happened. I don't know. I have no idea. I only know what actually did happen. So, but sometimes, like I said, I make up things that make me feel better, or I feel like maybe that's what happened because it was overall better. But I don't know. Anyway, I do feel blessed and grateful to be alive and to be okay, and really blessed and grateful that my car is not super dinged up or messed up. I don't even know how that's possible. I got a couple of scratches, white paint on my black car, and that's about it. And I was like, that is amazing, because I am in a ton of pain and my car is perfectly fine. But I also know that I can get treatment and that I will recover and I will be fine. And that is just super amazing to me as well. And I know that is because God was protecting me and my car, and He knew that I needed that. I need my car for work. So I just feel super blessed and super grateful that everything's going to be okay, and that it's not worse than it could have been, and that I could see that God was still there and blessing me and helping me get through all of that and do all of that, even though it was unpleasant. So anyway, that's what I have for today. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else. If you think they'll like it too. And I hope you know that God is aware of you every day. And I hope you find ways to recognize God's hand in your life. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude.